jumping into that shortly, but man, game number one. Talk about a little bit of a shock factor there. Didn't see that coming,
Yeah.
I must say. I mean, as you even just stated, we got the chance to cast PUDG very recently, and this is a team. I said going into the match, I wouldn't be surprised to even see them in the Diamond Division. Not to say that that still couldn't happen by any means, but they, OTP, One Trick Pony. These guys, some recognizable players. They really made a statement there in game one.
Well, hopefully they aren't a one-trick pony with that War Beast in the Suicide Roll strat. It worked out really well for them. I will say they played it awesome. I mean, they played it very well. I think the biggest thing, though, I was not sold, like I said, on that Dampier pick. It just really did nothing in that mid lane. Now, Prophet was taking a lot of damage, but that's partly because Dampier couldn't really do anything to help him. Now, if that was a hero like, say, even Pebbles, has a little bit more damage early on because of his high base attack damage on top of all the spells, even just level 1 and level 2. It doesn't compare to Dampier. Dampier needs a little bit more time to steamroll, and it just simply didn't work that well in that mid lane.
Yeah. That was, as much as I don't want to say, well, it was criticizing a little bit, of the choice to have Hammerstorm play the support role over Luna. I mean, and again, we still stick to that, I think it's safe to say. But in the end, it just didn't matter. The fact that they were farming heroes rather than creeps, it just simply didn't matter. It still was a very, very powerful combination of heroes with Hammerstorm and Luna, and it showed. And, you got to give credit to OTP in that sense. They first picked the Hammerstorm, and for me at least, I was taken back a little bit by that. Not that he's a bad hero, but it's just you don't think Hammerstorm has maybe first pick material, but they made him work, man. And he really, him and Iluna, obviously really controlled the pace of the game early on and set the tone for OTP to come through with a victory. So looks like both teams, though, they're ready to go. And in fact, we have already loaded in to the second game. So Trelf, we ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Game number 2 coming at you. OTP taking on PUDG. As you can see, the blind ban phase has already begun, taking place. In fact, we're in the lock pool now. So the blind bans, we had Ophelia, Jerizaiah coming out here from PUDG, Tundra, and Keeper of the Forest from One Trick Pony. So very similar to last game, I want to say, if I'm not mistaken. I forget exactly what they were, but I think there's a wild selection in there. In fact, there isn't one now. So, ooh.
Yep. And, Wild Soul was blind banned by the Hellborn team in that first position. They're not banning it out. They don't want to give them Tundra, basically, is the only change. Seeing how PUDG is now first pick, they don't want to give him Tundra. It's a very, very strong hero for a number of reasons. Logs have already started. Bubbles, and actually there's that War Beast. I'm just talking about that right now. But Bubbles, Wretched Hag, Chipper, and then War Beast yet again locked by Mega Beaver. Mega Beaver. Will it be picked up by them first? Well, they're in a very good position to do so. There's the Blood Hunter on top of that, so a little bit more of a troll lock, as we have a couple of heroes that are going to be kind of hard to use, namely that Chipper and kind of Wretched Hag.
Yeah, that is still a little bit different there, of course, especially with the Blood Hunter. I mean, Chipper, it's he's a very entertaining hero to watch. With that said, I mean, his burst damage is definitely there, and it's always fun to watch the skill shot style of abilities, such as his rockets, of course, and his ultimate can most certainly do plenty of damage. But not a hero we see on the competitive scene, really. So we'll see, though. Of course, locked by Storyfooter over there for One Trick Pony. Maybe that's another strategy of theirs that they have in mind, wanting to try to use him somehow. So that would be intriguing, as is the Blood Hunter lock. But, again, it's really a case of, is that a trollish lock? Well, there you go with Amon-Ra. And as you said last game, or last series even, you're not a fan of Amon-Ra.
No.
Don't think he has any place.
No, I hate the hero. I simply just hate the hero. I think after the change where you don't get the I can't remember what it was, but you don't get from things just hitting you, you don't get that immolation.
Yeah.
And I think that was a really good ability for him to be able to farm in the jungle. And I just think he's extremely weak in the laning phase. He does farm quite quickly, but you have to spam out all the time. It's like, do you really want all that farm on an Amon-Ra? I mean, he's easy to stop. So, I'm just not the biggest fan of the hero. Bands coming out, Tempest. There's Fade from Storyfighter. They don't want to give him that first pick Fade, and for good reason. And actually, Mega Beaver banning out the Tempest that they picked last game, so maybe they just want to force themselves to not pick that or something. I don't know. But Tempest is going to be banned, as well as a number of junglers. Parasite is still on the board, and yep, there they go. They don't want to deal with the Parasite yet again. I will say Parasite did have an impact, but the biggest deal was that mid lane. I mean, that mid lane just crushed that Hammerstorm and Luna lane.
Yeah, the cool thing about this lock pool is, well, that's very all simple math. we're going to see at least one of those 3 heroes in Shipper, Bloodhunter, or Amon-Ra even. And as a result, of course, then you can tap 4 to those 6 that are going to be played here in this game. So it's going to be at least one of those 3. Again, I'm interested to see which of the 3 it ends up being here. Between these 2 teams, you were talking about the bans, so the Tempest Fade, Parasite, and then Pebbles. There's a Silhouette ban. Now it's on One Trick Pony to make their personal 3rd. And, of course, the overall 6th and final regular ban here going into the big stage. So we'll see what Story Footer values here as their final ban. Of course, knowing that Mega Beaver will have the first pick over here for Dendy's Jungle Devos. Keeping that in mind. It is going to be Dark Lady, so a couple of carries there banned out at the end. Still some powerful options left, though, including that Draconis. You know, a hero that actually we have not seen Mage Bane in forever, man.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like he's been banned either. It just seems like teams have just simply been passing him up.
Yeah, the people just kind of regard as Silhouette and Dark Lady is a little bit stronger. There's the first pick, Wild Soul.
Yeah, totally
we haven't seen Wild Soul in some time just simply because it gets banned so frequently, even just in the blind ban stage. That's how much people hate playing against him, is they blind ban him almost every game. But he is first picked here by Mega Beaver.
Yeah, that's... again, that's as I was just referring to Mage Bane. Wild Soul's for different reasons, as you said. I mean, he's just banned way too much that he never gets the chance to even be played. But Mage Bane, but he's picked up here again. But Mage Bane, he's kind of just seems like he's died off as a powerful choice for a lot of people here on the competitive scene. However, we'll see. We'll see maybe this time around. I mean, again, there is Draconis, obviously, is an option on the board, and there is Swiftblade, which actually Archie Tiger is right-clicking with that newest model, and that would be a lot of fun to say, I'll say that much. Forsaken Archer, though, is going to be their carry of choice, at least, well, one of their carries. We'll see if they go multiple, but Forsaken Archer, so can't be too shocked about that. And now their follow-up pick. You look at that lock pool, there's not really many support options, if any, so of course that's something to keep in mind. You do got Glacius, Aluna, Nymphora, your Empath, so plenty of options here that actually that are left open when it comes to the support role.
I think Aluna's honestly the best. It seems to have the highest win rate. You can do many different things with Aluna. They're going to go with Hammerstorm yet again. Very similar lineup kind of early on. Obviously, they didn't go with Aluna first, but their idea of having that strong solo short being Forsaken Archer, it's a ranged hero. It can do well against a Suicide hero by herself. Is a good idea. Strong response from PUDG, though. Miraxis, Nymphora. Not the strongest laning composition. It can do wonders. Obviously, Nymphora being able to feed Miraxis all that mana can just spam those axes at free will. But just the combination in general, once you get that PK up on Miraxis, once you get the level 6 on Nymphora, it's very difficult to play against Nymphora. Now, we did see yesterday, actually, it was Experienced Gaming with Loda and Aki and that crew, how they played against the Pebbles Nymphora combination. They were at a horrible start, but what they did is they baited out the Nymphora TP onto their carry hero and got a very, very good exchange out of it. So maybe if OTP was watching that, if they're having problems with this Nymphora combination, that's one way to get out of it.
Huh. Warbeast is going to be the first pick out of the lock pool from PUDG.
Yep.
OTP is, and this is actually very interesting. I'm very curious to see where they go from here. You know, trying to think of their setup and as far as their presence so far. I mean, we did see them run a support Hammerstorm last time, so perhaps that's what they're maybe planning to do again this time around. Could be a Plague Rider support as well. Not that that's too far out of the option, but you usually see him more in that Suicide role. However, Bubbles picked up, and now the final pick, is this where we're going to see some interesting stuff? I mean, it's possible. Oh my God, we're going to see Amon-Ra, Trelf. Isn't that funny, considering how you were just oh so glorifying the hero. Wretched Haggett's going to be the final pick for PUDG, but Amon-Ra coming out here.
Yeah, now this is where the mind games come out. Like, are PUDG going to dual lane mid with their Nymphora Miraxis? But what happens if they face up against, say, a Hammerstorm Forsaken Archer? I feel like that would have a little bit more of a better time. That would lead me to believe that Plague Rider Amon-Ra might be going to the bottom lane. But I've talked about this before. Plague Rider dual lane and long lane used to be very popular, but Plague Rider just kind of does nothing for the rest of the game. Loses out on a lot of much-needed levels. And, yeah, I'm interested to see how they do this. They also could, a very slight chance, run a jungle raw. It's kind of bad now that they have that change. Like I mentioned, you don't get the immolate from just creeps attacking you. It can be done, though, if you just constantly spam your Q spell, your Path of Destruction. That almost might be the strongest way, because then you'll have a Suicide Plague Rider, no, it does look like they are going to go Plague Amun-Ra bottom. So yeah, as expected, that Bubbles is going to be soloing top in the short lane against what's probably going to be a Wild Soul solo in that Suicide.
Yeah, this is interesting, man. This really is, seeing how One Trick Pony is deciding to go about laning things here. I mean, Plague Rider with those 2 Ward of Sights, of course, rushing down here, and now he's going to run into a Hellhound. But as you can see on the mini-map, there's really, well, there's no danger here for these 2 heroes. So Plague Rider will be more than fine as far as getting the Ward of Sight down. And there we go, and he's going to retreat without much, if any, well, really nothing as far as harassment goes. Meanwhile, at the top side, the same thing going on for PUDG right there, as Wild Soul, joined by Moraxis, was able to go all the way up there and place that Ward of Sight. Bubbles, nothing really that he could have done even to stop that. So the Ward of Sights get down, so both of the creep camps are blocked. How about the Legion team as far as how they're going to be setting up? I mean, is it... I guess Moraxis, Wild Sighting back to his bottom. So, yeah, I mean, what do you think we're going to end up seeing here from PUDG?
Probably that Nymph for Moraxis mid, solo short, Wretched Hag. Actually, she's going to be in the Suicide role.
Yeah.
So, where's this Wild Soul going? Probably solo short Wild Soul. Maybe they spotted out their lanes or something. But regardless, Bubbles in the short lane against Hag is actually very favorable to Bubbles. So, Wretched Hag, I don't know about that. I feel like Wild Soul versus Bubbles, Wild Soul could do very, very well. Well, not very, very well. Bubbles actually could do, or would have the potential to kill him quite easily. But Hag versus Bubbles, that's kind of a meh lineup, or a meh composition, I should say.
Yeah.
Wild Soul against 2 down here in the bottom. Wild Soul does thrive against a number of against 2 heroes or more, because that bear, he's going to get the levels, and that bear has the chance to entangle. He's actually going to use the bear the second time the creep wave spawns bottom and pull it that way. So. Interesting decision there.
Yeah, you see all the way up here in between the towers, and there we go. Ultimate Defend will pull the creep wave and try to get it back a little bit for his sake. But Amun-Ra is going to be obviously the farming option down here, and we'll keep an eye on Storyfooter. He's the one that played a Luna last game, of course, and well, had a fantastic game. So we'll see how he does in Amun-Ra. You see right here, he's tanking the creep wave. He's actually bringing it into the jungle. So, oh man, he's going to try to. That's a lot of creeps to tank for Amun-Ra right here. He wants to try to tank them, keep them in front of the tower so it doesn't get pushed back. But yeah, that's so difficult. He's just going to have to take it back. I mean, and now he's just going to go ahead and try to farm with it the best that he can. But an interesting start to this game, to say the least. As Wild Soul kind of just doing the jungle thing in the meantime, is getting harassed by Plague Rider, but seems like he's actually getting a couple of creep kills here. So. Some fun things. Now Nymph coming in with a flank action. Oh, the Zeal Stun just missing on the front end. It will hit on the back end of the Plague Rider, but by all means, Plague Rider will be fine.
That was a really good job by Archie Tiger. Actually found where the Boo-Boo was going to pull those creeps and use the neutral creep camp spawn right there to pull them and prevent that massive, or that really good lane that he can do. He was trying to pull it all the way down to his own creep wave that spawned, but Archie Tiger prevented that. So really good job by Archie Tiger.
Yeah, and as we saw Amun-Ra, I mean, he just kind of sat there. Like I said, a little bit difficult with the tower beating on them and everything, but got a decent amount of creep kills. He hit level 3 very quickly. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to hit level 4 here in the very near future. And going to start working off from there. So Storyfooter again on Amun-Ra, off to a good start. Now, Amun-Ra not a hero at all that we see on the competitive scene, but if I had to guess, he does go boots first, but, building tanky is probably going to be something we see here. From Amun-Ra, of course, something like the early home of the Black Legion, the Mystic Vestments, and well, we'll see where he goes from there. I mean, what is your Amun-Ra insight like, Trout?
Oh, look right there again. Plague Rider doing the same exact thing, pulling those creeps to the neutrals. He's got to be careful. The last time Nymph came in to try to respond, but actually Nymph is in the top lane with an invis. Maybe he wants to get a kill on this Bubble. So if Bubbles wastes a Shell Surf here, if P-Top can maybe bait it out of Shell Surf, that's a for sure kill onto Bubbles. Oh, actually, that take cover is going to make it so he does not have enough mana. The stun actually comes out, but only the front end of it hits. He's still in a lot of trouble. He does not have enough mana to use that Shell Surf, taking a beating from both Wretched Hag and Nymph. In the meantime, Pussy actually picks up the Bloodlust kill, but there's a kill. P-Top finally gets the last hit on Zibba.
Yeah, obviously watching that top action, so wasn't able to catch the middle, but Forsaken Archer and Hammerstorm, it's pretty easy to imagine what that really consisted of. And that's a deadly combination in itself. We got finished talking about Luna Hammerstorm last game. Forsaken Archer Hammerstorm, a good amount of damage themselves, and I'm sure Moraxis it was just a case of him getting caught in one stun, and then the follow-up happened, and then eventually just too much damage to deal with. So good job right there for the Hellborn team. That's the good news, the fact that they got the Bloodlust kill first. And in fact, in favor of Forsaken Archer, who is all of a sudden at 376 gold per minute. She's getting an awesome creep farm going, 17-5. She just finished her rig of the Teacher, in fact, being in the middle lane even, as well as the boots. And on top of, again, the Bloodlust hero kill. So it's great that the Legion team got that kill in the end at the top lane. It's just unfortunate that it happened a couple seconds too late in the Bloodlust sense.
Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about, this Nymph 4 Meraxes lane. Yes, it's strong on paper. Yes, when you think about the metagame where it's like there's so many suicides, well, we can just throw this lane bottom and maybe free farm on a Meraxes. It's different in mid, especially when you have two teams that have the same idea, dual laning mid. If you both have the same idea, you have to make sure if you want to win and at least come out ahead in the early to mid game, you need to have the better lane. You need to have the kill lane. And not only do they have the kill lane, but they also have the Forsaken Archer getting all that farm in the meantime. So this is just a better lane. Forsaken Archer, Hammerstorm versus Nymph 4 Meraxes. Nothing Nymph 4 Meraxes can really do. And as a result, Meraxes is kind of struggling. Nymph 4 is trying to roam around.
Yeah, I mean, Meraxes ended showing 11-1 creep farm, only 150 gold per minute. Obviously, that death, he was slowing him down more. Nymphora, all she has is a health potion and one tree on her. I mean, so we're now 5 minutes into the game. Clearly not doing that great in that sense. Look at the bear once again doing the pull, and yet again Archie Tiger is going to be here trying to at least stop the best that he can of that. Unfortunately, this time not able to really do too much. But in the meantime, Story Footer on Amon-Ra, he will gladly take farm here at the bottom side. He hits level 5 right there, and continue to have a decent farm himself, which is actually looking at to be around 260 gold per minute. He could definitely purchase an early life tube if that's what he chooses to go for here. So the signs are definitely pointing in favor of One Trick Pony again here early on. I mean, maybe not taking off exactly like it was last game, but no doubt in their favor. So you look at PUDG right now. I mean, you got Wretched Hag farming decent, but it really drops off from that. I guess Warbeast is going to have to be a big factor in this game here for PUDG, being played by Tijor. Really getting him a strong farm and building up it seems like going to be the name of the game here.
Yeah, and here comes the pull yet again from Wild Soul, but not enough damage can be on that Boo Boo, and he's still going to get the pull off. And that's just the annoying part of Wild Soul, man. You always get lane control no matter how many heroes you're up against. You're still going to find your farm somehow. Now, he's not farming ridiculous. I mean, he only has 15 CS, actually. But nonetheless, he's still getting some farm. I will say that it was a really good gank from Mega Bever up in the top lane, using that Invin's Root to kill that Bubbles. It did give Wretched Hag a much-needed boost in a lane that she actually should lose. And as a result, she's sitting at 27-11 compared to 24-9 Bubbles. So definitely helped Wretched Hag out.
Amon-Ra deciding to go the Ghost Marchers route here.
Yeah.
Early on. So, I mean, what do you make of that?
Kind of interesting. I think he wants to be a little bit more effective early on. He wants to get the kill potential onto Wild Soul. And I think that's the reason. He doesn't really need to be tanky at this moment. He needs to have that kill factor.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously the Ghost Marchers not only for attack damage, but just giving him that speed burst to position himself for what is called the Path of Destruction. We're throwing out that comment and trying to land it on the team and, well, go from there. So 7 minutes into the game now, we're still tied at 1 hero kill apiece. We see a lot of pressure, though, here at the bottom tower. So Storyfooter is tired of having to deal with this Wild Soul. In fact, he's going on a Wild Soul. He does have an Ignite in 2 seconds as well as a Path of Destruction. There's the Ghost Marchers being used, trying to get a lucky and Tingle proc. Will it happen? There's a Path of Destruction. There's the kill in a Wild Soul. And, well, Storyfooter says, kiss my ass. Well played right there from Amon-Ra. No doubt, a lot of pressure. As in the meantime, his teammate actually did get taken out by Plague. As you can see, Warbeast was able to clean up him, and Amon-Ra will barely escape. So I completely missed that, actually. It just happened at the same time, it looked like.
Yeah.
At least besides the life there again for the Legion team is Warbeast took out Plague Rider.
I know, I always confuse those names as well. But, yeah, that was a really good job by Tiori, at least picking up a kill onto Archie Tiger. But nonetheless, that's why, I mean, Phase Boots came into play right there for Storyfooter.
Oh, yeah.
Being able to get that kill onto a lonely Wild Soul that didn't have boots, but now does purchase those boots. So it's like, I do not want to have that happen again. Yet again, we see that in forward trying to put a little bit of pressure onto Bubbles. Bubbles is level 6, needs to get that Homecoming Stone up on him, and so that he can counter gank. I can't speak today. But he is sitting at 1,500 gold just about. So not normally we see Bubbles pull up this much gold.
Well, he's going to go to the side shop right here. We'll see if he goes Steam Boots. Yeah, he just straight up purchases Steam Boots with that. So that's kind of what he's waiting for, is I guess. Just simply to get to that side shop so he can purchase the Steam Boots and then go from there. Wretched Hag in the meantime at the bottom, or the top lane, I should say. Galvanize was used by Hammerstorm right there. They were trying to initiate. But Wretched Hag, his spider senses were tingling right there. He felt something was up, and sure enough, he was correct. So he's able to get away in time. Meanwhile, Forsaken Archer, they know Hammerstorm's missing, so they try to maybe go on Forsaken Archer. But Forsaken Archer, being played by Fuzi there, he falls back more than easy, and will be fine. Bubbles pressure at the top side on a Wretched Hag. Not going to use his Kelfield. Instead, just forcing Wretched Hag back a little bit. But as you said, he is level 6, so well, level 7 now even. And if he goes to the side shop, he could definitely purchase the Homecoming Stone. Maybe look to set up a gank either in that middle or bottom lane. Maybe even just go for a kill on a Wretched Hag if Hag isn't careful here. So we'll see what Bubbles, being played by Exhibit here, decides to do.
Bubbles actually could have got a kill on Wretched Hag himself right there, solo kill. Oh, and actually the blink coming out from Wretched Hag, if Bubbles had used his Kelfield, it just, even if it forced the Wretched Hag to blink, actually he's going to shell surf and maybe try to connect with something. But even if it forces the blink out of Wretched Hag, it would stun him. It would set up a very, very easy aimed shell surf.
I was watching the middle lane right there. There's a great microwing actually coming up from Warbase. Meanwhile, Forsaken Archer, nice crippling volley. Dodging the axe right there. The Wolves are changing, dodging another axe. Great sidestepping coming up from Fuzi. Will this be enough to stay alive? Can he sidestep another axe? Yes, he can.
Wow.
Great sidestepping indeed. The SSKB is in the house apparently. Now he's looking to turn this around onto Moraxis actually. Maybe not. He has a regen rune. Sure enough, he's going to use that, and he will survive. Wow, that was some excellent sidestepping right there. 3 of them in the process. Hammerstorm in the meantime putting a stun on a Warbeast, trying to make something happen here, maybe get a counter kill. We see the crippling volley. Going to be dodged, speaking of sidestepping by Warbeast. But that Kelfield comes out. Warbeast is going to fall. Wretched Hag comes in with a Bat Blast to finish off Hammerstorm right there. It ends up being a 1-for-1 exchange between the two. Moraxis diving in further. Shell Surf going to come out. Bubbles, one more auto attack. There we go. Gets a kill in it for the crippling volley on top of the piercing arrows. Trying to do enough damage. Bubbles will get bursted down though. Sonar Scream just too much to handle. Coming out from Wretched Hag, and 2 for 2. When it's all said and done. What a fight there in the middle lane. Big plays on both sides, really.
Hammerstorm was doing some sidestepping of his own, and actually some more aggression. The ultimate comes out from Moraxis right after that crippling volley hits. Does not want to deal with that aggression, all that damage coming out from Forsaken Archer. Pops it pretty early, and he's just going to be okay for now. But yeah, a lot of early aggression coming out from both teams, actually. We're sitting at 9 hero kills 10 minutes in. So.
Amon-Ra being tied right here. Yes! Oh, the final auto attack, not enough. His ultimate was on cooldown. That would have actually killed him. So very, very close right there. The big dive. Oh, the seal stun from Nymph4. Great play by Mega Beaver right there. Snipes out Storyfooter. And actually, Plagueguard is in a lot of trouble. He does have a Homecoming Stone, however. So he will be fine. But, ooh, the tower actually does go down in favor of the helper side. Look at Nymph4. She's porting in way up here, figuring that she can maybe cut off Plagueguard. But obviously, Plagueguard, he is back in base. What a snipe, though, with a Zeal stun. Amon-Ra, he dove there big time. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, Wretched Hag taking a Hammerstorm stun, diving in on a Forsaken Archer, trying to get a kill. But Hammerstorm being there will fight her off.
Yeah, kind of a questionable decision right there, though, walking up through the trees rather than just going through the tower. I believe the tower aggro was still on the creeps. It was 1 hit away, actually. Mega Beaver tried to get that deny off, but wasn't able to before the Hell Cannon got the kill.
Yeah. Man, this action is starting to get a little intense here in this game. Just like last game, it was pretty crazy. It's definitely picking up this time around. We're now coming up to the 12-minute mark. You do see Plagueguard kind of hiding back here in the middle lane. Amon-Ra's off to the side, actually. He does have a Life Doom Mystic Vestments picked up. They may try to go on a Moraxis right here. Oh, he's going to use the Arcane Shield. He expected something to happen. But in the end, nothing came out, and he just walks away as if nothing happened. We do see a port in from Forsaken Archer, so 4 heroes are here in favor of the Hellborn team. Bubbles is currently at the top side. He does have a Homecoming Stone. So if they want to maybe try to make something happen, but he's busy dealing with Wretched Hag in the meantime. So they're just instead going to continue to farm their lane, I guess.
That's funny. I saw this exchange between Amon-Ra and Forsaken Archer trying to get the last hit for one of their creeps. Just sat there canceling their auto attack. That was kind of funny. But yeah, relatively even game right now. The experience lead is definitely in favor of PUDG right now, simply because they have that jungler in Warbeast. Tiore sitting at actually a pretty good spot right now in this Warbeast, and that's who I talked about with PUDG, this team, is that he plays a fantastic Warbeast and already having a decent farm.
Yeah, he is. And actually, Bubbles is in a little bit of trouble up here. We got a level 6 Nymph4 coming in. Shell Surf used aggressively. Wretched Hag taking some pressure. Can Wretched Hag turn this around? Kelfield comes out. There's a Thunder Grenade. The Bat Blast will set up a kill, but she got taken out at the man, that was a less than a half a second difference right there. So in the end, Bubbles will get the experience as a result of the kill. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, Morax is trying to make something happen here in the middle lane. Cannot get the deny off. Port in from Wild Soul. Tower kill in favor of the Helpers. And another sidestep from Forsaken Archer, but the second axe. He's not going to be able to sidestep that one. Just not nearly enough room. Amun-Ra in the meantime running away. Will we see a Lucky Entangle proc come off from Warbeast, or Wild Soul, excuse me. Of course, the Bear Axe will connect, actually. Can Boo Boo get the Entangle? Another Axe connecting. Oh, there's a Path to Destruction, though, over the ledge. Another Axe connects. But I think Amun-Ra is just a little bit too far away, and he will be fine when it's all said and done. That's an illusion up here from Hammerstorm. So, of course, that doesn't matter. But, man, again, this aggression here. What was that, actually? Something was on the ground. I didn't even get a chance. I don't think it was anything serious, but well, something just got destroyed by more axes. It's a little smiley face out there.
Yeah, it seems like Bubbles is playing more of a solo game this game, just trying to exchange kills with Wretched Hag. Now, Wretched Hag P-Top is 2-1-2, but actually is losing in the goal per minute to Bubbles, who's 3-3-0 at 273 goal per minute. And Bubbles sitting at a hefty sum of gold right there, about 2K. Yeah, 2039 right there as it ticks up, and it's going to have his portal key relatively soon, and that's going to be some great initiation for this Hellborn team.
Yeah. Yeah,
that they really do need.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be huge, 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 huge for them. So, now, aggression does seem to be more in favor a little bit of the Legion side, but overall, I mean, you pull up the goal per minute chart for Forsaken Archer, man. 355 goal per minute. She's 1-1-1 here as far as hero kill stats are concerned, but she's 76-13 now as far as the creep kills go, and it looks like she is going to be working on a Whispering Helm, just like she did last game, actually. We do see ports coming to the top lane. In the meantime, Amun-Ra Bubbles are up here. Bubbles does have their portal keys you talked about. Ward of Sight, though, right here. It will spot them porting in, as both Warbeast and Wretched Hag, they're going to fall back. So no kills going to be happening here at the top side, but instead they'll just look to continue to farm. So, and again, the thing to keep in mind, Amun-Ra, we don't see him much, but this is a hero that he can just be one of those beefy, annoying heroes in those team fights, especially if this game does start to get into that mid to later game stage. And that's another thing that PUDG will have to kind of keep in mind and be concerned about as this game progresses. On top of that, Forsaken Archer, as I believe Helm with the Black Legion is going to be finished here on Amun-Ra now.
Yeah, that's good for him, but that's a very, very late Helm with the Black Legion on a hero that was going 2v1. Now, he was dealing with the annoying pulls from Wild Soul. Wild Soul's only 0-1-0 actually. He's not farming the greatest actually. Normally we see Wild Soul in his position is just abandon all items and go straight for a mock, and of course he didn't get the greatest farm and had a little bit of pressure onto him. So maybe we're going to see something more of the team fight items like a Bulwark. Of course, actually I'll let you take over, breaking some action top.
More X's ports in with them for they get the quick kill on a Plague Hunter. Bat Blast coming on Amun-Ra. He does have his rebirth up, so he will be able to resurrect after this. Again, it isn't even going to matter. Will even die right here. He takes on it there we go. But here's that turnaround chance. Hammerstorm running in. Will use the oh, nice job from Moraxis using the Arcane Shield, absorbing the Hammerstorm stun, and he gets the speed burst. Amun-Ra is diving though big time. Bubbles ports in. Amun-Ra was not expecting that though. If he followed that up, that would have been a kill, but the communication unfortunately was not there for the Hellborn team. However, they are going to get a tower kill out of this, so that's of course a huge strength of Amun-Ra with that power cloud. I'm just going to call it rebirth. He was able to resurrect and help turn that around. Middle lane in the meantime, though, is pushed in by Warbeast, as keeping some gold up overall here for the Legion team.
Yeah, mid tower is getting pressured as well as the bottom tower about to get pressured, but Bubbles is quick to defend this, as he does have that spinball ability there. He goes with the shell serve, trying to push it back just a little bit, but while also getting a good amount of damage onto it nonetheless. I will say beforehand, though, that Bubbles, I feel like, needed to be a little bit more active still. Has that portal key, is level 11, so he's the top level in the game.
Yeah.
His spells do a lot of damage, and I will say in general, Bubbles is fantastic against Wretched Hag. I already talked about in the laning phase how I think Bubbles fares quite nicely, but in general, actually the homecoming stone canceled right there by Tiori. He's in a whole ton of trouble. He does have that ultimate up. Will he even cast it? I think he's just going to accept his death right here. As maybe, was that some lag or something?
I don't know.
Yeah, he canceled his port right there. Unfortunate.
I don't know if that was maybe miscommunication that he saw his team coming over, but oh, what a great job, Amun-Ra going over the ledge right there, helping to kill Nymphora. Now we see Wild Soul is just going to fall back. Nothing more he could do, but yeah, I don't know. I think, again, it might have been just simply a case of he saw his teammates coming, so maybe they figured they could turn it around, but then it wasn't, so it's a miscommunication perhaps, but that resulted in not only his death, but Nymphora's as well. So
yeah,
that was a big deal. Big deal, and definitely in favor of One Trick Pony. And they're going to group up kind of somewhat here at the bottom side and try to make something happen. We see Hammerstorm running into Wild Soul, but Wild Soul just a little bit too beefy to really matter there, and he'll just fall back and be fine. But right now, One Trick Pony. We'll see if they continue this push. Very likely going to happen. And going to put some more pressure here on the Legion side. Forsaken Archer, that Whispering Helm has been finished. Another 2,200 gold saved up. So if she goes like last game, we'll possibly see a Firebrand. In fact, there we go. Firebrand right-clicked. And that is now going to be delivered. So, yeah, the group up push is going to be happening by One Trick Pony here, it looks like.
Yeah, Hammerstorm is going for more stats, it looks like. I think last game he had the Striders just right into the blink, so we did want to build those Steam Boots this time around. Now, Miraxis does have that portal key, so they have that strong initiation that they need. And I will say that an initiation like that, like a Miraxis with a portal key, or something like a Magnus, synergizes very well with Wretched Hag, who has a blink of her own.
Yeah. Yeah, it sets up, and we've seen some solid Bat Blasts already coming out from P-Top here, playing this Wretched Hag. So the top tower does go down in favor of the Legion team. The bottom tower is going to be saved for now. It will stay at a deny range, it looks like, but the invulnerability got used, and enough of a hold-off right there so that PUDG will still have their secondary bottom tower up here. But, man, we're only 19 minutes into the game. We have a 9-8 hero kill lead in favor of the Legion side. We have, what, 3 tower kills down on PUDG's side. That's 3 tower kills down on the Hellborn side and OTP. So this is a very, very even game now between these two teams. I mean, the gold really reflecting that, basically the same. The experience is slightly still in favor of the Legion side, 3,300, but that keeps going back to the jungle factor with that War Beast. And the fact that just really naturally spreading out that experience. So this, no doubt, is turning into be a pretty solid game number 2 here. And that's, of course, a good thing here for the spectators. Barbed armor just purchased on Amun-Ra. So that's a good pickup. It's
a very good pickup. I think, in general, barbed armor is a bit of an underrated item. I think it needs to be picked up a lot more. Not just the fact that you can return 80% of that damage, but just the fact that you still have stats. It gives you 22 damage, 10 int, 5 armor. It's not a bad item at all, just by itself.
It's 80%. I thought it was 60% for some reason. 80%. Jeez.
Yeah. I think it used to be 100% a long time ago.
Yeah, they figured, all right, let's not make it that powerful. Oh, denying the tower. Well played right there for the Hellborn team. Is there going to be initiation? No, there is not in 4. In fact, even TPing out. So, in the end, OTP is solid defense set up right there. They deny the tower. And, you know, perhaps the biggest thing about that, Forsaken Archer wasn't even there. She was just busy farming the top side in the meantime. So, they were able to get the deny on the tower, stop the push from happening, and, well, Forsaken Archer just continuing to farm away. She is now 410 gold per minute. It is starting to get a little bit of a, well, a lot more of a lead even over the Legion side and their farmers. She has another 1,100 gold saved up, so on her way to I believe she ended up going at Frostburn last game. So I do wonder if we're going to see that here again from Forsaken Archer. Now, Moraxis poured it in with him for us. They're going to go for a kill, but Forsaken Archer, again, man, the spider senses are tingling. And clearly saw something coming, able to fall back in time. So that's good news for OTP right there.
It's really good news. I mean, it's pickoffs like that make that combination so strong. And actually, I'm surprised that they didn't try to do maybe even more pickoffs, even without the portal kill Miraxis. You can still make that happen. I will say, though, that in the late game, OTP does not have it. I think PUDG definitely has it between War Beast, between Wild Soul, who has the ability to yield 12 items. Wretched Hag is very strong in late game, and M4 in general is one of the best supports late game. So I feel like they need to make moves happen. And once you get some more core items, I mean, they have the Blink up on Bubbles. They have very strong core items on Raw. I think they're going to need a Blink on Hammerstorm as well. And then once FA finally completes like a real item, that's when they're going to be able to push in.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. This Hellborn side, I mean, Amun-Ra, I know you're not a huge fan of the hero, but he will be he'll be annoying in the later game in that late game stage for sure. But yeah, you look at Wild Soul especially. I mean, the fact that he does have those 12 item slots is really, it's hard to argue against that in the end. So they do push the bottom tower. So again, that goes back to earlier on in the game how they didn't pressure it too much. They were not going to allow the Legion team to deny it. They fell back, played it safe, and they eventually get it taken out. Now, we did see Ultimate defend a Wild Soul. He just finished his Mock of Brilliance, so, you know, a little bit later perhaps than what he was hoping for, I'm sure. But in the end, hey, that's not bad at all. I mean, again, remember, he was technically a suicide roll at that bottom lane, so that's Wild Soul for you. And now has a great item to work with, and of course that's great against Portal Keys especially. And you look at Bubbles right now, currently the only one with the Portal Key, but wouldn't be surprised to see more such as that Hammerstorm and then maybe eventually even Amun-Ra.
Yeah, or even Plague. We've seen that sometimes, but true. I don't know if she's going to get that farm. No, I think this timing of the Mock of Brilliance is actually spot on. It looked like he wasn't actually going to get it at this time, but 22-minute, 23-minute Mock of Brilliance when you're in that kind of pseudo-suicide lane. It wasn't really suicide because it wasn't long lane, but it was played like it. That's fine. I mean, he's going to do a lot of damage.
Now, OTP, One Trick Pony, they're going to try to do a little bit of a trick right here and catch the Legion team off guard. They're going to go for a Conquer kill. Unfortunately, there is this ward of sight here, so it seems like PUDG should be aware of this. They're going to set in the minions, and yeah, Nymphora having that also to worry about is very, very deadly. So
canceled report actually right at the observatory. Was porting right there with someone, but canceled it.
Yeah, so it's a case again of kind of miscommunication there, where thought maybe they were going to go in, but decided not to. So that will be on cooldown. Of course, now it's a 90-second cooldown, I believe, at level 1. About another minute here. So the Hellborn team, they gave it a shot, but clearly realizing that they were spotted there, and decided it was best to fall back. And I think that ultimately was the better decision. But so as you're kind of making a point there, just a couple of minutes ago, if you're OTP right now, you get your next major item. Amon-Ra's 2,300 gold saved up. You got Forsaken Archer another 2,700 gold. Then maybe look to make something happen as far as the push is concerned. Bubbles realizing that they're doing the Ancients over here. But Wild Soul falling back. He's keeping Bobo in there. Will Boo Boo get caught, actually? Boo Boo is going to fall back before he gets taken out. But Amon-Ra able to clear up some farm there.
Yeah, had he used that W ability a little bit earlier, they actually probably could have killed Boo Boo. There's the stun actually onto the wolves right there, and there's the Q to kill him off. Archie Tiger does have a Ward of Revelation above this hill to spot that out. Some big pickups, Shrunken Head on to the War Beast. That's going to be very, very huge for him. Getting in and out of that Bubbles kelp field is a huge annoyance if you don't have that Shrunken Head. But also Geometer's Bane picked up on Forsaken Archer, so going to have some more damage there. Also, the Wretched Hag is very close to her own Shrunken Head. Needs about 700 gold, a little less to get that. And once she gets that, I feel like that's going to be Q to PUDG to maybe try to pick a fight.
Yeah. They also have a portal key on Amon-Ra. It's actually just purchased, and that's being delivered right here. So another item that the Hellborn team, but again, this goes back to, really maybe look to invest into your next big items and then look to make some pushing happen, make some team fights happen, and go from there. So here we go. I mean, they got those items. They're going to hang out around Congo again, but as we saw last time, this Ward of Sight is here. So PUDG, they will have every idea if OTP decides to try to maybe do a Congo attempt here and try to catch them off guard. So probably not going to be successful, kind of hanging out around the area, not really doing too much right now. Amon-Ra will just clean up the creep wave as it comes. He is level 12, and that's important. I mean, Amon-Ra, that cooldown reduction on the ultimate, it goes down drastically, all the way from 300 at level 1 to 140 at level 3. So him getting level 16 is very important here for the Hellborn team. The fact that he'll be able to resurrect basically just every 2.5 minutes really is a pretty big deal. Meanwhile, at the top lane, Hammerstorm porting out just before the Zeal stun happens from Nymphora. I caught the tail end of that. I got to wonder a little bit what Hammerstorm was doing that far pushed up. However, they're going to go for a quick Conquer Ninja, but again, I just don't think they have enough damage. PUDG knows it. They did invest some TPs going to the top lane. I just don't think it's going to be quick enough, though.
Wretched Hag is very low, though. Very low on mana and life. And if they realize that, she's actually going to go up here and purchase some health potions and mana potions from the observatory to maybe get down there in fighting form. But I feel like they could actually pick a fight right now if they realize that.
Yeah, it's Wretched Hag is running over. As you said, she went to the observatory. She's going to start regenning, but it doesn't look like OTP. Yeah, OTP is not going to be able to take advantage of that for now, and they're going to have to fall back. Plague Rider is roaming around. He does have an invisibility rune activated. Oh no, he's on top of Revelation though, and Archie Tiger, you're dead. Yeah, that's that again. Wrong place, wrong time type of deal. You got to give credit though to PUDG. They expected something. Whether or not they saw him go invisible earlier, or they saw him pick up the rune probably, and that was a good heads-up play by them. So. And
that gold bonus for P-Top is going to give him that Shrunken Head that she really, really needs. They're grouping up. They're going to have that Shrunken Head delivered, and they can fight right now. They have all their spells up, and there's nothing stopping them. I mean, Wild Beast. No, Wild Soul has that Mock of Brilliance up on that bear, and is going to do so much damage to this tower. It's going to fall. Yeah. Also, Mirash is actually quite close to his own Hellflower.
Yeah, so, I mean, you look at the stats this game. I mean, Forsaken Archer and Amon-Ra are still the top 2 farmers in this game. That's definitely impressive here for OTP, but it seems like as a team, PUDG is starting to pull ahead a little bit further and further as this game progresses here. And that kind of goes back to, again, what you were talking about. what do you think of them investing so much time and resources in trying to take out Conger? Do you think that it's even worth it?
No, I don't. Obviously, they can't kill it. They need to do some better counter warding. I mean, that ward that just faded actually in mid, right above that cliff, did work for PUDG. I mean, it spotted them every single time they walked in there. And they simply needed to counter it. They should have had an idea that there was a ward around there or something, because every single time they'd walk into Congo, they knew. Of course, they were kind of walking through the creep wave 1 or 2 times, but nonetheless, they needed to do a little bit better counter warding. As a result, now Mega Beaver actually does place a kind of interesting ward here, right around where Forsaken Archer is, kind of spotting out some Ancients right there, as that Fuzi Skeleton King is sitting right there.
Yeah. Ooh, Portal Key just purchased some Hammerstorm, actually, so another initiation tool that this Hellborn team will be able to take advantage of. So some more good news in that sense coming out for One Trick Pony. But again, it keeps going back to, when are they going to find that necessary time that they need to make something happen? I mean, at this, it seems like with this pace that they're playing at, they're not as concerned as you were putting out there. That they need to try to take advantage. They're earlier on in the stage of the game. And right now, you could safely say we're kind of in that mid-game stage, but still not feeling it necessary to make too many things happen. I mean, Forsaken Archer just continuing to farming up the Ancients right there. Another 1,900 gold saved up for her. So this rate, it seems like that she's at least going to go for yet another item. And perhaps Amon-Ra will also follow that boat to 1,700 gold saved up on himself. Got Bubbles another 1,000. Actually, a tablet command to go with that portal key. So Bubbles actually being played by Exhibit here. He is taking advantage of some solid farm himself. But the longer you wait, you kept mentioning Shrunken Head has been finished on Wretched Hag. Warby's just bought some. Oh God, Warby's Wild Soul.
I know. It screws me up all the time.
I don't know. It's just ridiculous. You just never see the 2 heroes on the same team for one. Where is Boo Boo? I'm trying to find him actually. Boo Boo's down bottom. Yes, he is. Okay. He does not have any new items on Boo Boo, so okay. He just got Soul's Borg delivered to himself. That's what it was. So they got that to work with. They also talked about Hellflower being worked on. More Axis, and Warby's another Mighty Blade even picked up. So I guess Icebrand going to be again a Congo attempt. Here we go. OTP, it's not going to work. Hammerstorm says, screwed, I'm going to go and balls to the wall. On to Wretched Hag right there. Where's the follow-up? Amon-Ra jumps in. He activates a bar for but no damage is coming on top of him. Plague comes out, but the Legion team looks too strong right now. The Shrunken Heads are no doubt doing work. Forsaken Archer going to be bursted out of the background. The Bat Blast is just too much damage. Amon-Ra still has not died. He has a resurrection, but so little damage is coming out in favor of the Hellborn team. Bubbles gets trapped here in the woods, and PUDG would be like, all right, now we're going to go ahead and take Congo from you. Yeah. PUDG, the momentum is just completely in favor of them now.
I mean, they had a pretty decent experience lead, but that was just a matter of they had their big core items, especially on Wretched Hag. That Shrunken Head did wonders for her, being able to get that off during the jump of Hammerstorm. And actually, I mean, that's kind of what I'm feeling right now. It seems like an early concede, it really does, but that was kind of like an all-in strat almost, if you will. Forsaken Archer was not going to outcarry that, not even close.
Yeah.
And they realized right there after that fight, okay, they have their Shrunken Heads. If we don't get them, and especially with Bubbles going that tablet command over something like a Hellflower, they don't have that jump potential anymore with the Shrunken Heads active.
Well, Hammerstorm, great idea, obviously, and as you said, kind of like an all-in, and maybe that's what they needed to take a risk at, but he only stunned the one target in Wretched Hag. And, with Hammerstorm, you usually like to at least get a couple of targets as a result of that portal key. The Legion side, in PUDG in this case, they did a great job of spreading out, anticipating maybe a jump to happen, as we saw. And I think that proved to be, a very effective strategy for PUDG going into that fight. So, the Shrunken Heads, the spread, just the overall team damage, the items were just getting a little bit too powerful in favor of PUDG. And you could tell, although Forsaken Archer and Amon-Ra, like I said, they were the top 2 farmers into the game going into that fight as far as individual GPM goes. It just didn't matter. The team was just a little bit stronger on the Legion side. Their items were that much more effective. And obviously enough for them to, force a game number 3 Trout. And if I'm not mistaken, I think this is the first game 3 we're going to be encountering here for the Hunter Qualifiers at least. So
yeah,
there you go. We're getting later on in the event, and surprise, surprise, we have a game 3. Going to be coming at you, Trout.
PUDG answered back with vigor. I mean, they played really well. They set up their lanes kind of interestingly. Of course, Miraxis and Forward just couldn't really get anything jump-started in mid, but Wild Soul, first pick. There's a reason why this hero gets blind banned every single game, and I wouldn't put it past One Trick Pony to blind ban that right away. Well, they actually do have first pick now, so now they have options, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. Maybe PUDG is even going to blind ban them themselves with the second pick for their side. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. We got a Game 3 coming at you, ladies and gentlemen. So with that said, sit tight. Stay tuned. PUDG is taking on a one-trick pony here in the winner's bracket round of 64. HoN Tour Qualifiers. Game number 3. We'll be back shortly.